Pokémon FireRed and LeafGreen are officially on Nintendo Switch, but not without a little bit of controversy. Nintendo have released these games on Nintendo Switch for the price of £16.99 or $19.99 if you're living in America, and I'm told 29 Canadian dollars and 99 Canadian cents if you're living in, well, Canada. And I guess it'll be kind of the equivalent of those prices wherever you're at around the world. But today I'm working with the Great British Pounds as I am English. Before we get into the video, I'm just going to let you guys know that I'm not actually sponsored by Nintendo, despite the fact that people often think I am, because apparently anytime you say anything nice about Nintendo, you must be sponsored by Nintendo. I make content on a channel that has 467 subscribers. Well, 468 as you definitely just subscribe. Or maybe more than that now, I don't know, maybe 50 of you subscribed in one go, I don't know. But point stands, I'm definitely far too small to be sponsored by Nintendo. That said, Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen on Switch for the price it is, I'm all for it, and here's a bunch of reasons why. First off, at the £16.99 price point, if you plan on actually catching them all, it's going to take you about 40 hours, maybe even more. But if we just say 40 hours, that is 42.5p per hour of entertainment. It's a lot cheaper than going to the movies, let's be real. And we can now confirm there have been some quality of life improvements. First of all, if we're talking about quality of life improvements from the original versions of Red and Blue, there is the Sevi Islands, and if you haven't played Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen, if you just played Red and Blue, or if you played Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, or maybe the only version of Kanto you've ever played has been from Gold and Silver, or even Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the Sevi Islands are kind of like a mini extra region. It's what DLC looked like before Pokemon got DLC. But they weren't just 7 islands, there were actually 9. Originally 2 of the islands, although they were coded into the game, were only available if you attended an in-person event, or like me, had an action replay. Don't tell Nintendo about that bit though, because I would actually like to keep the door open for that sponsor one day. But yeah, back to quality of life improvements. So in the original version of FireRed and LeafGreen, if you encountered Entei or Raikou, having chosen Bulbasaur or Squirtle as your starter, if they used Raw, then they're gone. Like, they're not just gone from that specific encounter, they're gone from the game. Sorry, you had your chance and you lost it. But now they can use Raw still because they know the move, but they will just appear somewhere else on the map and they don't just disappear entirely. Also, Birth Island and Naval Rock, the 8th and 9th islands that I was talking about previously, are automatically unlocked once you beat the Elite Four, which means you can go catch and shiny hunt Deoxys in Generation 3 legitimately for free, as well as Lugia and Ho-Oh, and that is even more important now we know that Pokemon XD Gales of Darkness, and we can assume Pokemon Colosseum, will not be compatible with the other Pokemon games, which again, go watch the other video because I really did go off on one about that. I'm not very happy about that. I would also argue that the sprites have aged better than most 3D games. It's really hard to look at Pokemon X and Y and not compare them to like Sun and Moon, right? And then compare Sun and Moon to Sword and Shield, and then compare Sword and Shield to Scarlet and okay, maybe we forget that part. But the sprites, in my opinion at least, have aged really well, and they look, and if anything, they just kind of look stylized now, I would say. If you want to buy these games and play them on the original Game Boy Advance, then you're going to be paying quite a bit of money on the secondary market. You're definitely not going to be finding them for £16.99, except for maybe a Japanese cartridge if you're in Japan, in a book off outside of the city centres. But then you've also got to probably learn a bit of Japanese to be able to play it properly. So, I mean, if you want to learn Japanese and fly there and do it that way, that's probably going to be more expensive, but yeah, go nuts. And finally, this is now by far easiest way to get Pokemon from FireRed and LeafGreen into Pokemon Home without having to jump through tons of hoops, like transferring the Pokemon over to the DS games, then to the 3DS bank, and you need a 3DS and a DS and a Game Boy Advance, and it's just, there's so many things that you needed before, and now it's going to simply be a case of take that Charmander, pop it in home, done. Nice and easy, very simple. Tell me in the comments why I'm wrong, why Nintendo is the most evil least consumer-friendly company on the planet. And subscribe, because we're going to be streaming Pokopia on Friday. And if you want to see me rant about why Nintendo doesn't always make the best decisions regarding Pokemon, then click this video right here and click this to subscribe to the channel so you can get the notification about Pokopia streaming this Friday night.